devastated by Hurricane Ian. With that, we bring in Pulitzer Prize-winning columnist, senior news contributor George Will. George, I know you'll forgive me if we have to go back to the news conference, but from a pure politics standpoint, you have a man who is certainly among the top 2 or 3 contenders for the presidency come 2024, now managing this crisis on a national stage. Every cable news network has taken his news conferences. How's he doing?
For scores of millions of Americans, Leland, this is their first actual glimpse of Governor DeSantis. And I think he's projecting, let's use the word presidential aura. That is, he's calm, he's lucid, and he's heavy on information. I think people are going to be impressed, and I think this will give a boost to his rocket that's already in the second stage.
We're going to try to pull down a soundbite, if we can, of him last night on Fox News as the storm was hitting. And the host there tried every way possible, and Tucker Carlson's about as good as they are, to get Ron DeSantis to take the political bait. And no question, DeSantis has been very critical of Joe Biden over the past couple of years, and he simply wouldn't do it. Check with the control room to see if we have the soundbite. We do. Go ahead and take a listen.
Given how politicized things are at the moment, are you confident you're going to get the federal support Florida needs?
So I actually spoke with the president, and he said he wants to be helpful. We live in a very politicized time, but, you know, when people are fighting for their lives, when their whole livelihood is at stake, when they've lost everything, if you can't put politics aside for that, then you're just not going to be able to. So I'll work with anybody who wants to help the people of Southwest Florida and throughout our state.
There's 2 versions of this playbook, right? Christie did the very same thing before the 2012 election with President Obama and was shellacked by his own party for it. Will DeSantis be accepted by his party for doing it?
I think so, and I think what he's demonstrating is the most important attribute of someone who wants to be on the national stage. That is discipline, controlling your message, staying on point. And if you can't be blown off this by 150-mile-an-hour winds, it's probably not going to be blown off message at all.
What do you make of President Biden doing the same thing? Take a listen.
How would you describe your relationship and your conversation with Governor DeSantis?
It's totally irrelevant, but I'll answer it, okay? In fact, very fine. He complimented me. He thanked me for the immediate response we had. He told me how much he appreciated it, said he was extremely happy with what was going on. This is not about whether anything having to do with our disagreements politically. This is about saving people's lives, homes, and businesses. That's what this is about.
At some level, do both men realize that if they make it, the first one to make it political loses?
I think so. And what you're saying, Leland, is an outbreak of something not seen very often these days, adult supervision. A long life in politics has taught Joe Biden to control his, let's say, loquaciousness, which he seems to be doing admirably here. So this might be an occasion just to sit back and say, every once in a while, when it's really needed most, people do rise to the occasion, even in government.
How long does it last?
Well, let's hope it departs quickly, because the crisis departs quickly and we can get back to normal squabbles. Until then, it's a moment to be savored.
Well, it will be as long as it lasts. Obviously, we're going to wait for the Air Force One visit where the president comes down and see what the body language looks like. I don't think things will be as friendly tomorrow night in Texas. We're headed there for the Greg Abbott, Beto O'Rourke debate. The one and only debate will be aired right here on NewsNation from the University of Texas down in the Rio Grande Valley. This was my thought. I'll get yours. You walk out onto a debate stage. Greg Abbott's got a lot to lose. He's the leader. He's a presidential contender. Beto O'Rourke has lost 2 big races. He has nothing to lose. In some ways, walking out on that stage with something to lose makes it a little bit more dangerous for Greg Abbott.
I think that's right, and he probably violated the strictures of some of his consultants, but again did the manly thing, which is let's not coast across this finish line. Let's go out and give the people what they deserve, which is an articulation of our views.
You know that Beto O'Rourke is going to go on the offensive. It's he did it after Uvalde. Is Abbott wise to either sit back and focus on policy or mix it up?
I don't think the leader, and he is the leader, ought to mix it up. Mr. O'Rourke, who was a congressman, ran for Senate, ran a strong race, but lost. Then he sought the Democratic presidential nomination and lost. 3 strikes and you're out in baseball, three defeats and you're out in politics, and he can't afford another loss. So he has to come across as a plausible governor, not desperate, but weighed down by the fact that it's the bottom of the 9th inning for him.
And down, at least in the polls right now, about 9 points is where we have it. George, it's good to see you as always. Thank you. We'll be right back.
Glad to be with you.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.